I'm the former CEO of Yoast. I no longer work for Yoast anymore. We started a new company, my husband, Joost, and I. It's very confusing, everything. I now work at Emilia Capital, and we have recently founded a new product, which is called Progress Planner. Come check out our booth. So that's what I'm doing, and next to that, I'm also a teacher in a university again. I teach online marketing, and I'm also involved in local politics. That's what I do. Yeah.
Amber, yes.
Okay. I am Amber Hines. I'm the CEO of a company called Equalize Digital. We focus on accessibility. We have a plugin that does accessibility auditing, and also we do a lot of manual accessibility testing. I also run the official WordPress accessibility meetup, and I am the board president for the WP Accessibility Day nonprofit.
Jono, what about yourself?
Hi, I'm Jono Alderson. I'm an independent technical SEO consultant. I specialize in tech SEO, site speed, structured data, and squeezing every last drop out of WordPress sites.
And quite successfully so, looking at your own website. All right, so...
Stop reviewing my site.
He hates it when I find bugs.
Surprise.
So
3 websites are ours.
This is therapy.
Yeah, that would be fun. No, that's not what we're doing today. So we're going to review Click It Now, Administrator Toolkit, and Lightspeed Agency. And we're going to start with Click It Now, and you should be able to see the website appear.
Can you make it bigger?
Screen? Yes, I can, if Wi-Fi allows. I sure hope it wasn't a site, but let's assume that it was the Wi-Fi.
It's there.
Or the laptop. So there is a website here, and let's see, yes.
Yes.
Oh, go up to the top so they can see the top.
Yes, all the way to the top.
Yes.
Let me refresh the site so that you actually have the experience as we enter the site. Now, all of you have been looking at the site beforehand. So there's some things that you noticed. And I think, Amber, you told me to hit tab to navigate to the site, right?
Yeah, so from an accessibility perspective, one of the big things you want to keep in mind is that many people cannot use a mouse. This could be a blind person who uses a screen reader and uses only their keyboard. It could be someone who can see but has mobility differences, and so they use keyboards, or people who just prefer to use keyboards. So the tab would be a great way to navigate through the site. So if you hit tab, so we've got a skip to content link. Now hit tab again.
It went.
Now we're in, where are we? What just happened?
I'm not sure.
A pop-up opened.
Yes.
I think we
I'm
all have thoughts about the pop-up, and it's worth talking about. I will note, actually, the skip to content link that showed up there doesn't work. If you were to try and tab back to that one and hit return, it would not bypass the navigation. This is actually a common problem with Elementor, unfortunately. I have a code snippet on my blog that will fix that. But it is something that just because you have a skip link, it doesn't mean it works. You need to test it by hitting return and make sure that it actually does bypass you past the navigation menu.
Yeah, I know, Marieke, you had opinions on that pop-up as well, right?
I think it's a little invasive, but perhaps it works. So it's always like a trade-off of annoying people and getting people to sign up. But my first reaction was, it's annoying, yeah. Yeah, so I understand why people would do that, but I also think it's a good thought to have. Is this what I want it to be, or will people get fed up with my website?
I'd add, too, from an accessibility perspective, if we're trying to get people to convert, we really want an accessible form. If you might notice there's only placeholder text here. There's no visible labels. The placeholder text fails color contrast. Also, I don't know which of these fields are required. Like, if you were to maybe get my free web audit and without filling anything in, the email is required, but it didn't tell me that until I fill it out. So all of these would be considered accessibility failures.
All right. Let's close the pop-up and look at the site a little bit. So if we scroll down, there's some reviews here from customers, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They both look suspiciously similar.
Yes, they're twins.
Do you think,
Yes.
Donna, do you think it's important on reviews to have actual photos of people?
Yeah. I mean, what is the purpose of this unit, right? You're trying to engender trust and authenticity and demonstrate that you're a real company that helps real humans, yet these people don't have faces. That screams inauthentic. And even if these are real, I don't believe this for a second.
So it'd probably be better if you didn't have pictures, to just not have an image and have just the name and the rating or something.
Yeah, maybe these are real pictures. Maybe they look like this.
It could be, but also the name with the abbreviation kind of looks like you're a criminal. And yeah.
Yeah, and what I noticed, I tried to click Chris here, but it turns, I mean, my cursor turns into a hand, but there's nothing to click. So
Now I
no
really
way,
don't trust this, right?
there's no way to verify that it was actually Chris, that it's an existing person.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
All right, let's scroll down a bit. There's a slider thingy over here.
yeah, Jono mentioned that there are things here that autoplay, but they don't have a pause button, which is also an accessibility failure. And the European Accessibility Act, conformance is required by June 28th. You do note, while we're talking about that, there is an accessibility overlay on this website. It's called Accessibility. That is one that in the United States, they actually just got fined $1 million for lying about their ability to fix accessibility on websites and for false marketing and fake testimonials. The thing that I really don't like about this one in particular as an overlay, though, is that it fakes things. So you have a browser extension called Wave installed, right,
Yes,
Taco?
I do.
So if you click that, normally we would expect this to return results, and you can see it's telling us 0 errors, 0 contrast errors, 13 warnings.
Nope, this is perfect.
Scroll down a tiny bit more.
That's quite an incredibly good set of results.
It looks very good, although obviously in the pop-up we saw contrast errors, so we know there are some. If I scan this with my tool, I see others. Why is that? If you scroll over in the actual Wave banner a little bit and scroll down.
I'm sorry, in
Yeah.
the Wave? Yeah.
So it says, it's no errors were detected. That doesn't actually exist in Wave. What happened is Accessibility has a script that actually forces Wave to tell you there are no problems on your website. They are modifying it. If you go to the Wave website and run a scan on this, not using the browser extension, then you'll get the real Wave results. So it's really suspicious, and I cannot recommend any accessibility tool like this at all.
Yeah, so basically the pop is back again. Don't use Accessibility is basically what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that we should be talking about on this website?
Yeah, open a new tab.
A new tab.
And type site:/staging.clickitnow.com.
Staging.clickit.
And you'll get a set of Google results which show that Google is freely crawling and indexing all of their staging content. It's problematic for 2 reasons. One is you are now competing with yourself. These are all duplicate pages, and half of your ranking value is now in here. And the other is, if this is your staging site, this is probably stuff that you don't want your competitors seeing because you haven't released it yet. This is competitive intel. Really, really bad. This is a 2-minute job to fix from an SEO perspective. Just tell Google not to index any of this. While we're on SEO, there's a bunch of other crimes here. I'm quite opinionated on technical SEO. They're running a plugin I've never heard of, which bodes poorly, that just misses a whole bunch of basics. I know there's an endless debate in SEO about, these plugins are bloated and they do too many things, but those are things that you need. And as soon as you start going, actually I'm going to do some kind of, there's only 1,000 installs on this just to run my XML sitemap, you miss out a bunch of nuance. These things interact, they're conditional. This is fun. What is doc category sitemap? Why should we be telling Google to care about this? There's just a lack of kind of management here of details of what and how should Google be crawling. And it just means that 20% of all the work they do is maybe wasted. Really inefficient.
All right.
We should also say something nice.
That was exactly
Yes,
where
let's
I
go
was
back.
going.
So it's fast. They've got a really nice setup. They use NitroPack, who are here and really, really great, good performance plugin. They use Cloudflare. Their tech stack is really sophisticated. There's room for improvement, but they've genuinely, it looks like they've put a lot of work into making this super speedy. They've just missed a kind of bunch of the housekeeping basics.
I also like their design and their color scheme. That's well put together. Yeah.
I'll say one thing that is pretty good about this is their heading structure throughout everywhere, which is good for SEO. It's good for accessibility. It just helps everyone's scan. So they don't have heading 1s. Every page has to have a heading 1. But otherwise, they have really nice heading nesting where they're following the heading order, and it helps people understand. So that is really important. I personally like a lot of their graphics. They might be modified stock graphics, but it seems like they've customized the colors to match their brand colors, so they look more like they could have been created just for them, which I like.
Yeah, and not every company has the budget to create their own images. So I can totally see that if you're not a big company yet, that you use stock photos or stock images. What I wanted to say is I looked at the content, and the readability is good. And there's been a lot of content created in the past few years, and that makes me feel like, okay, we all know how people create content very fast these days, and I am afraid that this content is pretty generic and could be AI generated. ChatGPT didn't know for sure, so it could also be AI helped, and that's okay, but also not okay. So there is too much content coming out that is actually not helping people. And we see, or Jono knows more about that Google is tentatively punishing that. So if you want to add content, add something that really adds something to the junk that's already out there. I've been saying this for years, but it now also appears that actually is something that you should be thinking about. So just writing content for the sake of content is, I think, an SEO strategy that is long gone.
All right. And with that, we're going to move to the next website.
But thank you, Click It, because it was very brave. Sorry, Taco.
Yes. Yeah, so again, thank you very much for submitting your site. We're moving to administratortoolkit.com. Scrolling, I'm not seeing a pop-up.
So there is actually a pop-up on this, but it is a user-triggered pop-up, which I like a lot better, except for, you may notice on the side it says press S to subscribe. The difficulty with this particular component is it's not actually tagged in any way that when you first load the site, it actually flies in. So nothing would alert to a screen reader user, and it's actually, I think, located like above the header. It's not a functional component, so it's not a button. So if no one hears press S to subscribe, we don't know how to open this. Now also, if you've opened it now, if you hit tab, see how it skipped to content, now hit tab again. We're in the main somewhere, hit tab again.
I'm now at pricing, demo.
Yeah, so where you are is actually behind the pop-up.
Yes.
So when you have pop-ups, this was something Click It Now actually did a little better. When that pop-up opened, you were in the pop-up, and you could go through the fields without having to find it. Whereas this one, it's not doing that. So pretty much it's non-functional, and if you think joining the email list is really important for this website, they're going to have a ton of people that will never be able to do that.
Yeah, if I tap through the entire site, I eventually make it to the pop-up. So it's
somewhere in the footer, probably.
Yeah.
On the footer, noticeably missing there is the name of the company, their address, or any legal information such as a privacy policy or a cookie policy. Despite them running a whole bunch of analytics tools and things that set cookies, I'm not a lawyer, but my GDPR sense is tingling. This is not good.
Yeah. I did notice in the pop-up there's a privacy policy next to that subscribe. So maybe that's helpful at least. It's next to the opt-in form where you give your data. So. I liked something on this pricing page. Can you go to the pricing page?
Yes, absolutely.
So this is also another one. If you look at the headings on this website, we'll do that real quick first. They also don't have heading 1s on all their page. This is so common, I think, when you use like a theme template kit or something. Heading 1s are so important. But if we scroll down, Nope, go back up a little bit more. They're buy buttons. So one thing about this that's not super great, and the other one, their buy buttons in their pricing plan just said buy now. Again, these say buy now, choose your plan, let's talk. So at least they're unique, whereas on the other ones, it was all buy now, buy now, buy now. But the thing that's difficult about this is that link doesn't have any context. Buy now, one off of what? What am I buying? Normally, we'd want to see screen reader text or an ARIA label or something that makes this a unique button, or just visible text that makes it unique. So like by agency, by, or choose your agency plan or something. But they are a little bit more unique, which is better than Click It Now, which we didn't pull up. But.
And there's a 30% discount. Did you see that? Yeah.
Yes, especially this week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I do feel like this one seems like it's maybe had more accessibility effort put in, which is interesting because, they're not running the widget, but when I look at some of this, I see better default things. The nav menu works a lot better from a keyboard perspective. Can you tab in the nav menu? So the skip link works on this one. So click return on that button. Well, darn. It did work. How about the resources one?
Wait, let me refresh the page.
So what I was able to do before was open the drop downs. So they have separate toggles for opening them. I'm not sure why it's not working. There we go. So this is really important. This website's small enough that maybe it wouldn't be too bad if you had to tab through all of them. But if you imagine on a really large website, you don't want to make someone have to tab through all of your nav menus. So the fact that you can go just across the top, or you can choose to open a dropdown, is really nice. And I like the way that's been done.
Yeah, so it does work for resources. It does not work for features.
So that's probably a bug, I guess. Does it work for about?
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe just, if you're in the room, check out your features jar. Oh,
that's
this
a
might be
different-
because it's a mega menu, so something else
Yeah.
is triggering differently.
Yeah.
What about the button not next to it? What about the features link itself? Is that a link?
I'm sorry, which one?
Not the button, but the features text, is that a link, or is that a control that opens it?
Oh, right. We can try.
Oop.
No, we could
No, okay,
try.
so there's something up with the way the mega menu has been built, but the other drop-downs work. So I'd investigate that if this were my website.
Yeah, so if feature doesn't have the nice outline like all the other links do, but it does take me to the feature page, but not into the menu.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So is there some content on this site that we should review? There's a blog.
There's some.
Do you think images are important on a blog, Marika?
It looks nicer. Yeah, I think so. So what I see here is that, apart from this one, actually, I didn't see this yet. They're all very, very high over, very generic, and we don't know who Dave is. That's what we.
I was going to like, who is Dave? It says by Dave. Like,
Hi, Dave. Oh. So what I miss is a bit of personality. I want to see more of Dave, because I think that'll that will help with your branding. I'm also curious.
There we go.
There's Dave.
I'm also.
So you like this?
I
Yes.
like this, and I would also, because the one thing that can set you apart in a blog post is to show personal anecdotes, show your experience, show what you know, and then the content is relevant. And I also have a question, and that's just for all security plugins. Actually, if we now look at it, it's rather light, but all things security are dark. All of them, all the branding is dark. What is that? Why is that?
scary.
Yeah, but it's supposed to make you feel safe.
So you like this section with the lighter background better than
Yes.
the dark backgrounds?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, because I'm obviously watching on my laptop, and I have the feeling that I need to zoom in to properly read the text.
Yeah, but that's because you're old.
Yeah,
But this is accessibility, though.
Ow.
Right?
You're true.
So one thing that I think would be good, and this is something we always test, is you zoom to 200%, make sure that nothing is cut off, and then also 400%, and nothing overlaps. So right here, I'm already saying this is good.
Yeah.
Like, it's responsive, it has
still see
adapted,
Dave?
and it's allowed me to make the font bigger so I can see it on whatever screen I'm looking at. So that's good.
This is at 400%.
So
And now I
okay, this might be an issue. So the 400%, and it looks like the pop-up is triggered, but that's off screen. So that would be a failure because you can't see or get to it. I don't know if you hit escape and then press S again, if it would close and, yeah. So
it
that
doesn't allow
part,
me to
I'd look at
scroll
the
up any
pop-up.
further. I can only scroll in the background now.
Yeah, so that's a trap for the for the super low vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One note on some performance stuff.
Yes.
So there's some mechanism in here that says if I'm on mobile, load a smaller image or a different image. If I'm on desktop, load a different one. Except both versions load on both versions. So
It's
you've
just
got
hidden?
Yeah. So you're downloading like an extra 3 megabyte of images on every page, regardless of which device type you're on. There's 100 plugins that do this sort of thing. Some of them do it right, some of them do it wrong. I'd look into the mechanisms. But yeah, you're slowing down both scenarios, which is less than ideal.
All right. Is there anything that we want to highlight that's done extremely well on this website? Oh, that's quiet.
Well, I said a few things already that I
I know,
think
I
have
know.
I
done-
like the
done
about
well.
page about Dave.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I do think it's nice content about Dave. I'm not sure if it should be above the stuff that you're building.
No,
because
I think
if I
it's
go to the about page, I want to learn about who is this
Yes.
before what is this.
Yeah.
So, but yes, definitely.
Or you could potentially have two separate, like about the products,
Yeah.
about me or team or whatever, right?
Yep. All right. We have support hours on here. I like it that you don't work on weekends. Please don't. It's very
It
good
does
to
you
take.
really though. We all are product. Many of us are product owners.
Yeah, the only thing is, I'm not sure about your target audience, if they are fully in the UK, but I do have to do some calculation now what 10 a.m. in the UK is for me. So that might be something that you could dynamically detect where my browser is or where I am, or stuff like that. With that, we have one more website and 6 more minutes, so you have to be lightning fast,
Really?
which matches Lightspeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a blog here that has articles. Marieke, did you read them?
Yeah. And I was suspicious at first because I thought there's also a lot of new content in here, but the articles are surprisingly good. So I can't say that they're well written, and I think they generally add something to what people should know. So I tried, and I also threw them through the readability analysis of Yoast, and they also passed. So
So that's
It's nothing-
really well done.
yeah, really well done.
But
Yeah.
click one of the authors.
Authors. Let's do Ash because he's in the room.
Where it happens.
Oh, Ash actually has a bio, so a whole bunch of the people didn't have bios, and it was just a name and a face, and far worse than Dave's. At least this is a demonstrable human. But yeah, author pages like this are so important now.
But Ash wrote the most.
Yeah, there we go.
Right.
Oh, Zared looks like Ash.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
This is not how you ghostwrite.
Yeah.
All right.
So something that I wanted to point out on this website, I think the homepage one is one. Are you able to tab to that free consultation button?
Let me see. Skip to content.
Tab, now you're on view our work, yes.
Nope.
Okay, so can you inspect that button, please?
I can.
So what has happened here is the button block has been used, and you'll notice that it's a link without an href. This is incredibly common, and I don't fault Ash for this because I see this on, I don't know, 80%, 90% of the websites that we audit. I actually have a Gutenberg GitHub issue about the fact that the button block isn't able to create buttons. It can only, so if you click that with your mouse, it does work. It triggers a modal.
Yep.
And this is a very important modal. This is the sales modal, and
Yeah.
it's on every page. But because it's a link without an href, it is literally non-keyboard functional.
The SEO in me is dying. Either
Yeah.
this is a link with an href or it's not a link. This is the worst combination.
Yeah, so what this would need in order to be functional is an href with a hashtag. That would at least get you some keyboard functionality, but it would also need to have a roll of button added to it and JavaScript so that it could be triggered with a spacebar. Or you don't use the WordPress button block to create buttons. Very weird, right?
Yeah.
Or
Gutenberg's
someone
great.
goes and submits a patch to Gutenberg and fixes our problem. So.
All
That
right.
would be the best solution.
Yes, that's what I would love to happen.
Yeah, what we talked
So.
about before is the font size. And I'm well aware, Marieke, that I'm getting older. But I'm seeing the same problem here as well. Is that
But as long as you
text
can
is-
zoom, Taco, can you zoom in
Well,
on this one, okay?
I can.
Yeah.
Let's do it at 200%.
And this works well even with the image in the middle, which sometimes that doesn't, so that's good.
Yes.
I will flag too, the modal on this is triggered by Pop-Up Maker, which as far as plugins, that is one of the best from an accessibility standpoint for modals. So if you are gonna do one, that would be what I would use.
Can I ask an accessibility question?
Yes.
These bits here, Tack, if you scroll up ever so slightly, like these sections have a header, support and maintenance, but then the link is after it that's like VR support. The SEO in me wants to link that header, not the text at the bottom. What's the trade-off there? What's the right approach?
So if you only linked the header, that would be fine. I think some people expect there to be a link after, or visually they like there to be a link. What you don't really want is a bunch of repetitive links where you have to tab through the exact same thing.
Read more, read more, read more.
Yeah. So one thing I do like about this that we didn't talk about on the other sites, but so we've got H1s everywhere. This one also has underlines on their links, and there's quite a few instances on the other sites where the links were not designated as different from text, except for with color, which is a failure. Now, this is a failure that on hover, it only changes color. There needs to be a visual difference other than color, but I do like that I can tell it's a link. We just need to get rid of that border bottom is probably what it is when we hover on it.
When you're saying a visual change, could that be removing the underline?
It
on
could
hover?
be removing the underline. If this is a border bottom, you could make the border bottom bigger. You could make the arrow bigger. You could, put a box all the way around it. Drop shadow as long as it has sufficient color contrast. Just some visual thing that doesn't require color, because some people have blindness to certain colors and won't be able to tell the difference.
Check. All right, we have about a minute left and then 5 minutes before they really shoo us off stage. What should we mention about the site?
I was also
But we
going to
haven't
say, can we go, I think it's on the services, maybe? One of them, any one of them? Are there a pricing table on here? Oh, maybe not. I thought one of these had and Ash, if you can tell us where there's a pricing table. No? Oh, maybe hosting was where I saw it. Yes, try that. Oh, no, okay. I thought I saw on this one that there were, but maybe it was the other one, where the buttons were much more unique and explained, you're getting this or you're getting that, but.
You want to get really nerdy and pull up the XML sitemap?
Always, I love that.
Nice.
Especially
Don't
if
go via the robots.txt because the link to the XML sitemap there is wrong.
So this is
Yes,
Yoast,
this is
huh?
Yoast. So this lists all of the URLs that you would want Google to be crawling and indexing. I suspect that probably shouldn't include all of those tags for project tag sitemap, for example, or your mail poet templates. This is a 2-second job to go into Yoast and say, do index these, don't index those. A whole bunch of these are internal gubbins that you probably don't want Google wasting time and energy on. Like when Google calls your site, they do so with finite resources. So every bit that they're lost or confused in is going to cost you energy that might have been spent on your content. Yeah, or like you are actively saying to Google, please come and check out this weird mail poet thing. It's not great. Yeah, every time you update a plugin or install something, it's, you shouldn't have to manage this, but you always do.
Yeah. It might be worth talking about for a minute, like tagging in general, because I have seen this on a few websites where people just think the more tags, the better. But don't you want to have like unique content on tags?
Far better. And this is really, if you open up half a dozen of these, you'll see it's the same posts in every single one.
People use tags in WordPress as though it's Instagram, but tags should categorize your posts together, and you should not use them as hashtags. So but people are used to doing that, and that's our most common seen SEO problem, right, Taco? Whenever we do that.
Yes.
We have a plugin for that.
Thank you for plugging the plugin, Marco, because indeed there's a plugin called Fewer Tags. It happens to be by Progress Planner. That helps you manage this. Thank you for building that, Joost. So to be fair, on this site we have 137 posts and only 24 tags.
Which is Wonderful.
Good.
We've seen
Yeah.
different
Way worse.
distributions with 1,500 tags on 100 posts, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
Right, these are landing pages. Right? They need to be valuable. They need to be crafted and managed. Horrible.
Yeah, so if you use it like that, you should make
Zero.
sure that your tag page is also something worthwhile seeing. Yeah. Nobody does this, though. So we're now bullying Ash.
Yeah.
Well, he wrote wonderful pieces.
We love everyone who submitted that.
Yes,
It's
and we
very
have to
helpful.
stop.
Yeah.
I'm scared of her.
So, and with that, we're at time. I'm well aware, I'm just stalling. So, thank you very much for coming out. If you have any questions for our experts,
Thank you, Taco.
we'll be at the Progress Planner booth, at the Equalize Digital booth. There's a bunch of software tools that our companies build to help you solve some of this. If you want to have your own website reviewed, use the form on the WordCamp Europe page, and we'll do some reviews on
Yeah, nice.
YouTube. So you'll have a chance to have your site reviewed. Anyway,
Krijgen we nou iets leuks?
Ja.
thanks for your attention. Have a fantastic event.